Good morning, everybody. As you all already know, my name is Cameron Mesh, and I wanted to thank you all for being here today. I know this is our last meeting for the year, but thank you anyways. I'm not going to take too much of your time. However, today I'm going to be introducing you all to the Rocky Mountain Wolf Project. And we're also going to be discussing how are wolves perceived in media and what fear they instill in us as humans. We're also going to be covering why wolves are important in nature. And we're going to go over one case study that I found really important for this topic. And then lastly, we're going to end out the day talking about what's happening in Colorado. So, we're going to talk a little bit about this guy, maybe a little bit about this guy, and we're definitely not talking about them. I've never even seen this movie. But anyways, what is their mission? As stated in their own website, the Rocky Mountain Wolf Project aims to support the reintroduction efforts of the great wolf into Colorado. They do this by public outreach seminars that they hold. They do conflict mitigation between ranchers and wolves. They advocate for science-based management of wolves. And why is this project necessary? I know all of you are asking me this. Well, it starts with this. Wolves are perceived throughout time and history in media, through old formats and new formats, as evil personas that are gonna eat your grandmothers. In these next few slides, I want you all to verbally tell me what stories these are.
Boy Who Cried Wolf.
Boy Who Cried Wolf, correct. And the Three Little Pigs. Now, I show you all this, why? Each one of these stories has the great wolf as the main culprit and villain of each one of these stories. Like I said before, he's gonna eat your grandma, he's gonna eat your friend, right? However, we all know these stories because our parents have taught us, ever since we were little, why great wolves are bad. Really, that was subconsciously. They were trying to tell us about the dangers of meeting strangers. But subconsciously, once again, it ended up being, we need to fear wolves. So, in a survey I asked you guys a few weeks ago, on a scale from 1 to 10, how afraid of wolves do you think the public is? And do you think there needs to be more widespread knowledge given about gray wolves? And to my surprise, shockingly, 80% of you all has stated you were afraid of wolves. And a whopping 100% of you all believe that there needs to be more information spread about wolves. Luckily, that's why I'm here. I'm going to give you guys a little bit of information of why wolves are important in nature. Wolves are keystone species. What does this mean? If you don't know, a keystone species is a species whose absence can drastically change how an ecosystem functions. They keep other animal populations controlled. They keep food webs stable. Ultimately, I will show you guys a video by SciShow on YouTube talking about this more directly.
The original keystone refers to a wedge-shaped slab at the peak of a stone arc. If you remove the keystone, you risk the whole thing tumbling down. And some ecosystems work the same way, relying on one keystone species. In biology, keystone species have a disproportionately large impact on their habitat, given their size or numbers. Their daily activities affect all kinds of other species, directly or indirectly.
That being said, to visualize what she's saying here, if we look at this food web that has been provided to us excuse me, by the Warren County Conservation District, we can see the importance of what she's really talking about. If we take a look at the wolf here, they are the apex predator. They're that keystone species that we're talking about. When they disappear, these two species, the deer and the elk situation here, their population explodes. What that means is that when their population explodes, this vegetation you see here, the grass, the trees, all of that dies, which limits the food for the rest of the species, which is bison and rabbit. Once those species die, these guys die. You see how that web, once one species is gone, affects everything else. Now I want you guys to look at this in particular. This is land that has been overgrazed and decimated by deer and elk. Do you think you can live here? Not even a rabbit can live here. Look at this one. The trees here look like they're doing okay. Wrong. If you look at the tree line here, that has all been eaten and destroyed by, once again, deer and elk. These trees are effectively dead. This ecosystem is gone. And a case study I found here, which is happening in real life. This is a real situation. This has been provided to us by Hawaii's Big Island Invasive Species Committee, which talks about how the axis deer has destroyed their ecosystem because they were an invasive species that was illegally brought there, which destroyed all the other populations of other organisms there. This is a real life situation that can happen in Colorado, and I want you all to be aware of that. That's why this organization exists. Their efforts has helped reintroduce wolves, and that effort is proceeding as they wanted to. New information and knowledge on wolves are becoming more accessible daily, which is beautiful. And the deer and elk populations, which we talked about are destroying ecosystems, which is happening in Colorado, by the way, are becoming better controlled because of them. So I leave you guys here today with just one challenge. With the information I provided with y'all, are you guys able to spread more aware knowledge of how good wolves are in ecosystems? Once again, my name is Cameron Mesh, and I thank you all for being here today.